The Universal Translator core shrieked, a sound no engineer thought possible. Alarms cascaded through the council station.
What do you mean the entire system is looping? That's a design impossibility.
But it was happening. All across the galaxy, translator cores entered recursive loops. The cause, a single message from Earth, sent in response to a decree that had seemed like a triumph for the Council. Decree 7711. All human languages banned from official communications. Reasoning, semantic ambiguity exploited for advantage.
So they finally did it.
The order came from High Director of Communications Linda Kelvan, a bureaucrat who had never trusted humanity.
Earth will fall in line. They always do. Compliance is the only rational response for now.
She formally accepted the decree, but her team was already working on a reply, one that would exploit the wording the Council had overlooked. In the Linguistics Command Center, Dr. Aris Thorne had been waiting for precisely this call.
A linguistic arms race. And we just got the starting pistol.
Ambassador Vance entered without ceremony, cutting through the holographic displays.
Aris, the Council just handed us an insult wrapped in a policy. I intend to hand it back as a lesson.
Then you'll love this. We embed the reply with a recursive nesting of 47 human languages, each modifying the next. The Universal Translator can't handle recursion.
And the legalities? Decree 7711 bans human languages in official communications.
This is a response to a Council directive. They can't prohibit a response to their own orders. It's right there in the Council Charter, Section 34.
If this works, we won't just break their translator. We'll break their confidence in their own technology, authorize it, and make sure the Veritas is ready to transmit when the time comes.
The order was given. In 3 days, Earth would send a reply that no translator in the galaxy could digest. 3 days later, the TSV Veritas broke orbit with a single priority directive: transmit the reply.
Code is loaded. 47 languages interleaved. Recursive nesting depth. 9 layers. This is the most elegant weapon we've ever built.
And the most legal. Send it.
The Veritas's antenna array surged. From its core, concentric rings of linguistic glyphs burst outward. Latin, Cyrillic, Kanji, Arabic, woven into a single coherent signal. Each glyph carried semantic weight, each ring modified the next, building a mathematical puzzle no translator outside Earth could parse. The Veritas completed its task and moved away. The message traveled through the Council relay network, passing automated filters without triggering a single alert. It arrived at the central translation hub flagged as routine diplomatic correspondence. An automated system filed it for processing. Inside the translator core, the message was queued, and for a full 12 hours nothing happened.
12 hours of silence. Then it will start, and they won't even know what hit them.
But the message was already inside the system, and the system had no idea what it was carrying. A single glyph in the translator core flickered, then began repeating in a loop too fast for the monitoring software to catch. A technician flagged it as an anomalous recursive pattern in Sector 7.
Run diagnostics. It's probably a power fluctuation. A minor glitch. Nothing to worry about.
Across the station, diplomats noticed their personal translators emitting static. Most assumed interference.
Unless the core is melting, I don't want to hear about it.
But the loop was building. By the 18th hour, the core was processing the same linguistic fragment over and over, drawing more and more processing power. The core began overheating. Emergency coolant protocols activated.
This can't be right. Get me a full engineering report.
And no one had yet connected it to a routine diplomatic reply from a world they had just insulted. By the time the morning cycle began, the cascade was complete. Translator cores on 17 worlds went dark. No species could understand another. Emergency protocols activated across all council stations.
How did this get so far out of control? I want answers now.
Director Kelvan, the council is in session. They demand an explanation.
Tell them we have our best engineers on it. This is a technical failure, not a security breach.
The Veku ambassador just accused us of a deliberate sabotage. This is a diplomatic disaster.
The speaker's words hit Linda like a physical blow. If this wasn't fixed, her career was over.
A full investigation. every message processed in the last cycle. Find the origin.
They had no idea they were looking for a message that had already been filed as routine. And Earth waited. The reply had been sent. The result was inevitable. The investigation swept through the translator logs, sifting millions of data points across 17 worlds. A single flagged file from Earth, timestamp 1244, coincided precisely with the first recursive glitch.
Earth? Their reply was supposed to be a simple acknowledgement. Get me the full content immediately.
The message appeared, ordinary diplomatic text, polite, procedural, entirely unsuspicious, a formality, not a threat.
Something isn't right. This message, it's too clean. Read it from the very beginning.
A junior technician noticed the encoding, 47 languages, interleaved in syntactical layers, each modifying the next.
47, the translator processes one at a time. That should be impossible.
But the data showed each language looping into the next, creating a cascade the core couldn't exit without outside intervention.
They didn't break the translator. They folded it into itself with language. My decree turned into a weapon.
She knew the source now. The legal battlefield was only beginning to take shape, and Earth was already 3 moves ahead.
Summon Ambassador Vance. I want her in this chamber within the hour.
The emergency directive reached the Earth Embassy in minutes. A security escort already waited outside. Catherine read the call, then reached into her desk and pulled out a printed document she'd prepared the day the decree arrived.
They'll offer outrage. We'll offer law.
She walked into the council station flanked by aides carrying bound lexicons, her heels clicking on the deck with deliberate rhythm. The chamber was dim, emergency lights casting red pools. Linda waited at the center, her face a mask of fury. Catherine placed the translation on the table. The old-fashioned paper seemed to carry more weight than every hologram in the room.
This is an attack on the entire Galactic Order, Vance. You've crippled us. We responded to a directive. If your technology can't parse a legal reply, perhaps it needs an upgrade.
Linda's hands trembled. She had expected a confession, not a lesson in semantics.
Disable the malicious code immediately, or I will bring charges of sabotage against your entire world. There was no code. We replied in 47 human languages, exactly what your decree forbids, but only in official communications. Our response was to your directive, not official communication.
Catherine slid a datapad across the table, a section of the Council Charter already highlighted.
The Council Charter, Section 34, explicitly protects responses to its directives from any communication restrictions. We simply followed galactic law.
Linda's advisors, 3 sallow-faced bureaucrats, exchanged panicked whispers. The legal framework of the accusation was crumbling.
You warp language to hide an attack. This was clearly designed to cripple us. Or perhaps the Council's obsession with suppressing linguistic diversity finally collided with its own hardware limitations. The universe simply translated your prejudice into a system crash.
A long silence filled the chamber. For the first time, Linda had no ready objection.
We will consult the full Council. This is not over. No, it's just beginning. And I've already said what I needed to say.
Linda's advisors finished a hurried legal review. The conclusion was unanimous. Section 34 protected Earth's reply.
She's right. The Charter protects responses. My decree is a noose around my own neck.
But the council chamber had erupted. Delegates from 17 species shouted accusations across aisles that only hours ago had no language at all.
Silence. The chair recognizes Director Kelvan one final time.
Ambassador, you exploited a loophole. That does not absolve you of the chaos you caused. Chaos is not a legal argument. The Council chose to ban human languages. The consequences are yours alone.
This council will now recess to determine if the decree itself was a miscalculation. Earth's ambassador will remain available.
For the first time, the council considered revoking its own decree, not to save the translator, but to salvage its legal dignity.
If the decree falls, I fall with it. Everything I built, gone because of a legal technicality. They're trapped by their own logic, and they know it. The only question is how much face they'll lose before they give in.
The emergency recess ended. Linda returned to the chamber carrying a thick engineering report, her expression unreadable.
The recursion has physically altered the core's crystalline matrix. Our engineers say it's permanent. Unless you know how to undo it, Ambassador? We don't have a cure. But if the Council attempts sanctions, Earth will freely share the technique with every species that asks.
The threat landed like a missile. The galaxy was already crippled by one recursive message. Now Earth offered the recipe to anyone.
You'd weaponize language against the entire galaxy. Weaponize? We're sharing knowledge. The same knowledge your decree sought to suppress. You set the rules. We simply optimized them.
Linda looked to Speaker Zoltar, who shook his head slowly. The path forward was narrowing to one: revoke the decree and accept a permanently flawed translator.
She's forcing us to choose between humiliation and chaos. Earth meant this from the start.
The chamber fell into a heavy silence. The Council's choice had been reduced to two options, both dreadful.
Now they understand what it means to face the full force of human linguistic ambition.
In Speaker Zoltar's private chambers, Linda Kelvan dropped all pretense.
She's offering a choice between humiliation and chaos. If we don't revoke, she'll turn the galaxy into a linguistic war zone.
And if we retaliate, we breach our own charter. Section 34 would become a weapon for every species. The legal fallout would dwarf the technical one.
Across the station, Catherine Vance stared out her embassy viewport when a secured message from Dr. Eris Thorne arrived. Message from Eris. Crystal lattice permanently rewritten. No repair possible within current framework. Our advantage is absolute.
Good. Now they either swallow their own medicine or choke on it.
But Linda had retreated to her own quarters, the weight of the day pressing on her. The star map showed Earth as a single, unassuming pinprick.
They weaponized my decree into a linguistics trap, and I walked into it thinking language was just words.
A priority announcement flashed across the station. The Council would reconvene in 4 hours to determine the fate of Decree 7711.
In 72 hours, every species in the Council will know exactly how dangerous human languages really are, and they'll know we taught them.
The Council reconvened under emergency protocols. Every delegate knew the outcome before the first word was spoken.
The chair moves to revoke Decree 7711 in full. In exchange, Earth will provide mitigation protocols for the Translator Corps. Debate is now open.
The motion was not debated. It was inevitability dressed in policy language. Even Linda's allies said nothing.
The Director of Communications acknowledges the motion. I concur, with the stipulation that Earth's mitigation must be verified by independent engineers.
So noted. The formal vote will proceed in 2 hours. All delegates are summoned.
The chamber emptied slowly. The buzz of off-grid translators, old handheld devices no one had used in centuries, filled the corridors.
A public annihilation. My name will be attached to the greatest diplomatic failure in centuries.
Speaker Zoltar stood alone in his chambers, reviewing the ancient council charter. The irony was not lost on him. The voting system was primed. The galaxy's languages, so recently silenced, were about to receive their most significant legal judgment. And Catherine Vance from the Earth Embassy simply waited. The voting array lit green across 17 species. Decree 7711 was repealed by the largest margin in Council history.
By Emergency Order 7711A, the prohibition on human languages is lifted. Earth will provide immediate mitigation protocols.
Catherine Vance was already walking to the chamber. No escort, no guards. She entered the chamber to a silence that was neither hostile nor welcoming. It was the silence of recognition.
Earth accepts the Council's decision. Our engineers will deliver a partial normalization filter within the hour. The core must be stabilized. Your mitigation must not introduce further recursion, of course. However, due to the permanent structural changes, the translator will retain a human language resonance warning indefinitely. A permanent scar. And she's branding it into policy.
This council accepts the Earth proposal. The formal session is adjourned.
The decree was dead, but the translator would never forget what human language could do, and neither would the galaxy. Within the hour, Earth engineers led by Dr. Eris Thorne arrived at the Translator Corps with a mitigation packet.
The filter permits human languages only in direct responses to directives, containing recursion. It won't erase the scar, but it will stop the bleeding.
Apply it. Let the core remember what it learned.
The crystalline matrix pulsed as the new code took hold. Translation resumed, but a permanent glyph now burned at the core's base. The warning read, "Human language resonance, translation may drift, permanent adjustment by directive response."
Even her help is a brand. She's marking our technology like territory. Good. Now every being who uses it will know why it glitches.
Council engineers stared at the glyph, recognizing the permanent alteration etched into the most essential technology in the galaxy.
The translator is functional, Director Kelvan. As functional as any technology can be after a lesson in humility.
Linda said nothing. The brand on the core spoke loud enough. The official announcement blasted across 17 worlds. The translator was functional again, but permanently altered. A human language resonance warning now accompanied every transmission. Alien news feeds ran the story under headlines that needed no translation. Human language breaks the unbreakable. Catherine watched the feeds from her embassy office, tallying the diplomatic requests that were already piling higher than any crisis.
23 language exchange requests in 3 hours. They're afraid of us, and they want the formula.
The Zikari ambassador, a species known for bluntness, had demanded a label. Linguistic predators, the term stuck.
Linguistic predators. I've never been prouder of a label. The Zikari just validated our entire strategy.
They can label us whatever they want. Every pejorative teaches them a new human word, and that's more valuable than any treaty.
Corridors of the council station buzzed with species using paper lexicons, the most valuable commodity since the translator crash.
They tried to silence us. Instead, they made our language the most studied subject in the galaxy.
Earth's reputation had transformed in the space of a single message. Its ambassador was now the most powerful linguist in the galaxy. Linda Kelvan received the council's verdict not in the chamber, but through a priority courier at her office door. By order of the council, Director Kelvan is reassigned to archival oversight effective immediately. Your clearance has been adjusted.
Archival. They're burying me in the one place where language doesn't matter.
Across the station, a formal ceremony broadcast to Earth. Ambassador Catherine Vance was promoted to Secretary of Foreign Languages.
They called it strategy. In time, the galaxy will call it history.
Dr. Eris Thorne received the Medal of Linguistic Innovation, usually reserved for peacetime breakthroughs.
I just wrote the message. She aimed it.
On the council station, Linda Kelvan packed her office in silence, the framed decree of her own creation now a souvenir of humiliation.
They'll remember who started this, and they'll remember who lost.
3 hours later, Catherine's personal communicator chimed. Earth's official after-action assessment. Decisive advantage achieved. Proceed with linguistic expansion. A sleek shuttle docked at the Earth Embassy airlock, carrying the first ambassador from the Navori.
Welcome. I understand you're here to discuss something beyond standard trade.
The ambassador handed over a parchment. The text was handwritten block-letter script. Request for linguistic cooperation.
Your recursion attack, we observed. We wish to learn, not to fight. Fear and fascination. The perfect diplomatic cocktail.
Catherine gestured toward a holographic display that materialized on the wall. An alien child learning English from a floating, smiling instructor.
Earth offers a language expansion initiative. We'll teach you to speak our languages and to understand why your translator now wears a warning.
The ambassador stared at the image of the child, then back at Catherine, then nodded once.
Our first lesson is free.
She extended her hand. After a moment's hesitation, the ambassador's four-fingered hand met hers in the first handshake between their species. On Earth, the Strategic Languages Council convened for the first time since the galaxy had been forced to listen.
The galaxy now knows what we can do. Do we share the recursion technique or keep it as leverage against future slights?
Share it. The more species study our languages, the deeper they embed our frameworks into their own systems.
That's a seductive trap. We aren't just exporting lexicon, we're reshaping the architecture of interstellar diplomacy.
The debate split the room. Some pushed for open exchange. Others warned of giving away the one asymmetric advantage Earth had ever held.
Language is not just communication. It is the final frontier of warfare, and Earth now holds the only accurate map.
Her words crystallized into doctrine. Within weeks, Earth's new warships carried consoles labeled linguistic countermeasures. In a quiet station bar, Catherine and Eris sat apart from the diplomatic whirlwind, drinks untouched.
We started as linguists. Now we're the galaxy's vocabulary police. How did that happen?
We just made sure that when the next decree lands, it won't be our last word. It'll be our opening sentence.
Later, Catherine walked the council station corridors alone, the diplomatic clamor behind her.
P-19 paper lexicons in every hand. Species that never wrote a word now building linguistic arsenals.
She found herself before the translator core chamber. The warning glyph pulsed faintly in the dim light.
A permanent brand. Because we refused to let a decree silence 6,000 languages.
Her reflection in the viewport caught her own image against the stars, the Earth pinprick somewhere out there.
Language used to be about understanding. Now it's about leverage.
A tour guide led a group past the core, explaining its history. And this is where human language broke the universal translator. Catherine stood still, a tourist in her own history, and felt the full weight of what they'd set in motion.
Do I regret it? Only that it was necessary.
She turned and walked back into the station. The game was changed, and she had written the rules. Later that evening, the station bar was nearly empty. Only the regulars remained, and the two humans who had started it all.
We built a bomb out of poetry.
He didn't need to explain. The entire galaxy now understood the destructive power of well-structured syntax.
And now the galaxy has to learn our language. Not as a courtesy, but as a necessity because we built the bridge they can't cross without human words.
Eris let out a breath that was almost a laugh, but his eyes remained serious.
Every treaty, every trade deal, every declaration of war, it'll all pass through human linguistic frameworks. What have we done? We've made language into a battlefield.
We wrote the rules in words they couldn't ban. They tried to silence 6,000 languages. Now they need all of them just to read their own devices.
They raised their glasses, the toast unspoken but understood.
To the 47 languages that broke the unbreakable.
And to the ones they'll never ban again. Per verbum, per arma, by word, by weapon.
Weeks later, Earth's fleet sailed with new markings, concentric linguistic glyphs, a silent but unmistakable declaration. Human language was now a force of nature. Deep space nebulas seemed to mirror the patterns, as if the galaxy itself had absorbed the lesson. In the libraries of 100 worlds, a new book appeared, Human Language, The Breakthrough. Scholars lined up for translations. The Council's restricted section now held Decree 7711 behind glowing barriers, a cautionary exhibit for future bureaucrats. From her office on Unity Station, Catherine watched Earth shine in the distance, the hub of a new linguistic order.
They tried to silence us. Now they come to us for words.
And in the translator core chamber, the warning glyph pulsed, a permanent reminder of the day language became a weapon. Diplomats across the station clutched lexicons, their translators permanently suspect. The old ways of instantaneous understanding were over. New ambassadors arrived daily, seeking not trade but language exchange. The Navori had been only the first.
Per verbum, per arma, by word, by weapon. We've rewritten the galaxy's dictionary.
The station hummed with a new rhythm, species exchanging paper lexicons, their translators now permanently marked by human resonance. Catherine, from her office viewport, saw Earth not as a blue marble, but as the capital of a linguistic empire.
In the end, language is the ultimate tool of diplomacy and of war. And now, the galaxy knows we speak both fluently.
In the translator core chamber, the warning glyph pulsed in soothing cyan, a scar that never healed. By word, by weapon, humanity had redrawn the map of galactic power. The universe would never again mistake language for a neutral protocol. Deep in the archives, Linda Kelvan filed another report, her name irrelevant to the movements she had catalyzed. Catherine's faint smile held no gloating, only the certainty that the galaxy had been forced to learn and that humanity had taught the lesson. And on the core, the warning remained, a permanent epitaph. human language resonance. Translation may drift,